Good evening, everyone. Here we are, skeleton crew. Ken, you're the closest. Will you lead us?
Sure. Oh, I was starting to say the Lord's Prayer.
That's fine too. We'll all be arrested for that.
The pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Entertain a motion to approve the regular board meeting agenda for June 21, 2022.
All in favor? Aye. Four.
Entertain a motion to approve the June 6, 2022 regular board meeting minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
So
Presentation.
Sarah Wilcox is not here for the presentation, so we will move it to, we'll ask her when she wants to come and present. So at this point, we can move on.
Does that mean we pull it from the other section?
Sounds good.
Because we, okay.
Mhm.
Do you want to do an executive session now?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to enter into an executive session for 2 contract minutes.
So we move to come out of executive session.
I
Thank you, good.
I think it's at 8:23.
We did that in the. Thank you.
Sheets are,
Reopen.
your sheets are really big.
Yeah.
It's warm in there.
All in favor coming out?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're out.
My,
The superintendent's report.
sir. So just really wanted to start with our recent event. And even though they're not calling it a tornado, it certainly was a significant weather event. Whatever it was significant and it had a significant impact on our little village. So, just to give you a timeline, because we had a very short turnaround to really go through everything that we needed to do to make sure that we were able to administer our Regents exams. So we were notified right before 5 that the storm had hit. I reported to the school, realized the power was out. We were communicating back and forth because Mr. Salatel quickly said, you really need to be aware of how badly the village is, and we need to think about Regents exams. So in communicating with the district superintendent, this was a new one for not only him, but possibly the state of New York. So that proceeded to have a Zoom call with 2 deputy commissioners and the assistant commissioner of the Office of Assessment, where we discussed that the Regents had to be administered on Friday. And we were given some leniency with the security of the test. We were allowed to remove the test that night, secure them in a locked car, to make sure that if we needed to move locations that we were able to. And what's not on here is in between that, we did have a fire alarm go off at the school. We did think it was a fire alarm. It ended up being the motor to our elevator. There were 2 transformers that had burned out that caused wires to burn. It caused a lot of smoke. And so then we did have to take care of that. And in conversations with our first responders, we were assured that we would have power in the morning. We wouldn't need to think about moving our exams. However, in the meantime, I had reached out to Livonia Central School District, and despite the fact that their community also had been hit by the same storm, they still had power at their school. So we realized at 5 a.m. we reported to the school and that we didn't have power, and we knew that we needed to make decisions pretty quickly. So we did close the school for all of our K-12 students, except for students who were administered the Regents. We confirmed that Livonia had a wing for us to administer our exams. We notified GFA of the plan, transportation arrangements were made. We had staff on hand here at GCS to direct any visitors. As I said, really thank you to Ken and Sherry for staying here we wanted to make sure with the way our system was working, our difficulties with the phone, that if someone showed up and needed to know where we were, that they knew to get to Livonia and to communicate with us. So just a huge thank you to Livonia Central School District. As I said, they not only had the same storm hit their village, they also lost a part of their roof on their school, and they were still able to help us out and give us a place to administer our regional exams. Our administrative team all showed up. Mike Salatel was actually here at 2 a.m. Friday morning to see if we had power. I was here at 5, and we were really hopeful that we would have our regions exams here, but unfortunately it didn't take place. By 7:30, we had our entire administrative team at Livonia ready to set up and do what was ever needed. Our GFA teachers, everyone that was scheduled to proctor an exam showed up, and they just didn't show up. They showed up with smiles, a can-do attitude, and just happy that we were able to move forward with the testing of our students. It was amazing to see our little community come together. Also on an emergency day, our bus drivers and don't need to report. So Mr. Ballard had contacted all of his bus drivers. Every single bus driver showed up, completed their rounds, and then throughout the day, because we had the regions in the morning and afternoon, proceeded with midday trips. There was also extended time for some students, and so we had one bus driver stay late and provide transportation home. Our O&M staff showed up to see what they could do to help us in this situation. And so really it was a whole team coming together to make this success of administering our region's exams. And last but not least, thank you to our parents and students. 100% of the students who were supposed to take those respective exams showed up and were able to take their region's exams. So just thankful that everyone was able to come together despite all the troubles that they may have been dealing with personally. Also good news, we're going through a New York State Comptroller audit. So today we had our kickoff meeting with Mr. Holt and Mr. Forrester and the auditors. So it's an IT asset audit. So they are going to be checking how we have logged in all of our computers, our Chromebooks, our services, and really looking to make sure that if we had an order, we've documented it, we've checked it in and have gone through that piece. So they're going to start that audit next week, and I will keep you updated as we go through that process. Mr. Holt, was there anything you wanted to add in regards to that audit?
No, it was a good opening meeting. We gave them the inventories of both our local stuff and the EduTech owned equipment. They will be randomly sampling out. They recognize a rough time of year to do it. You know what I mean? As far as last week at school, and with some of the devices in the kids' hands right now. So I think they're going to be flexible with us, but we'll be looking forward to hearing what they find and listening to their recommendations.
Yeah, they did give us an option. They said, do you want us to come back on Friday or Monday? And Mr. Holt and I were like, if we could get past graduation, that would be helpful. So let's shoot for Monday. And they were willing to do that. So thinking of and talking about Mr. Holt. So oh gosh, how many years we've been doing computer-based testing, John?
Honestly, I think it's like our 6th year. Like at the early onset, we wanted to give it a try and honestly never look back from the 3-8 math to the
and so kudos to Mr. Holt and his department, because they have us set up and ready to meet the deadlines that the state has now put forth. So for grades 5th and 8th, and by 2024, the ELA math and science assessment have to be administered on the computer. By 2025, the 4th and 6th grades need to be taking on the computer-based testing. And then when we get to 2026, full implementation, which again, you know, that first year, there were some bugs and it wasn't necessarily Geneseo's issue. If you remember, the statewide system went down. When everyone logged in, they didn't anticipate the numbers and their entire system crashed. But we learned from that. And there were things on our ends that we had to change and adapt. And we've done that. And I want to say, the last few years that it has gone smoothly, and hopefully continue. We will see that trend. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for commenting on that. It'll be interesting to see if this ever evolves to regions events. You know what I mean? So the 3-8 testing was a good testing ground for it, but when it gets into like at least the ELA social studies where there's a lot of text, it does seem like a logical step.
And so I really wanted to provide a mental health summary. As we stated in September, we did have a mental health therapist on site 5 days a week. So when that person started, this was a new position through Rochester Regional Health. They did not have any students that they were connected with here. By the end of the year, they had 36 students on their caseload. There were 5 families who participated in family therapy. A full caseload for a mental health therapist is 45 students. So you can see that within a year, we were almost quickly to full capacity. I did talk to the director if that, we grew so quickly this year that if there was a need to add more services next year, that we could certainly look to do that. Everyone knows that mental health is a major focus and we need to provide services. Just really excited how successful this therapist was for our district. And then we do have some highlights. We did have our senior awards night in scholarship. So the senior scholarships equal $24,600. It speaks to the generous community that we have and how successful our students are when they do apply for these scholarships. We did have a senior art show June 14th at Crickets. And then last week we also had our spring sports banquet. And today we had our kindergarten graduation. This is just one class. I don't think it gets any cuter than that.
No, it doesn't.
Class of 2034.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't feel old when you came in, you do now.
Yeah. What's the world gonna be like 2030?
That, good question. And upcoming events, we do have the UP graduation this Thursday at 1 p.m. And then our graduation commencement is on Saturday at 11 a.m. So excited about those 2 opportunities and celebrations for our students. Today, the greetings of gratitude cards were put in teachers' boxes. And first of all, just thank you, GCEF, because this was a wonderful project. And it was an interesting response because I knew right from the beginning, the development that we had put into this project. And yet when I received 2 cards myself, I actually almost teared up a little bit. It was very emotional to think that someone had taken the time to write a personal message. And it can't speak to the volume of just writing a handwritten note or just saying thank you to someone. So excited that this was our first time with the Greetings of Gratitude project. I don't think this is going away. I think it's something that will be done every year. And I anticipate this project growing in leaps and bounds because I'm sure everyone felt the same way I did when they received their card today or cards. And any questions?
Is the large gym coming offline for a little while?
So what will happen, the large gym is offline this summer while they are demoing the small gym. And we have reached out to SUNY Geneseo. We will be allowed to use their gymnasium. We will be charged an hourly fee to use the gym for our teams this summer.
Somebody mentioned that they can use the weight room, not the gym.
So this summer, the weight room may be off limits too, because when they're demoing that small gym, there's going to be a lot of movement and we want to make sure that everything is shored up. Once that is demoed and closed in, the large gym, the mezzanine, the weight room, they will all be accessible for PE classes. We started talking, I don't know, November, December about swing space for next year. We knew it was a big undertaking to lose a whole gymnasium space. So we have been planning and working on those pieces.
Awesome. When the construction's not happening at night, are they able to get in the gym and use the gym at that time frame? This summer?
This summer, no.
Coach has asked, I should bring it up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Audit and finance.
There's no community relations.
Evidently.
Nobody's saying.
No.
Yes, we met tonight. Audit and finance did. We talked to a number of topics, some continuing discussions regarding gas and electric. We're locked in for the time period. for this current year, I should say, and then next year, some additional evaluation will occur. Item 8.1210 is the must-go finance that's on tonight's agenda. So we talked to the components of that, which is the lighting in the back and the rationale in terms of what is on the agenda. So from a finance standpoint, we're comfortable with that. We further talked about the capital improvement project. There's an approval on 8.07 tonight. I'm comfortable with that. And the bus driver's contract, we walked through some clarification points on that and 7.18. So we're comfortable with that as well. We also talked through year-end reserves and can get more information, and you can get more information on that. And then some time ago, we stopped the shared services committee. We're now going to just revisit and see if there are any shared services topics that need to be addressed in going forward meetings. Anything else?
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Policy 6.02, we did not meet, and we will resume
Probably in the summer.
this summer. GCEF, Cindy already commented about the real nice thing that they did, and I think it was very well received and like awfully nice thing.
And more to come on Friday from GCS for our staff, but I don't want to give away the surprise.
Top secret. Okay, that leads us to personnel.
Okay.
If the board wouldn't mind, in our conversation, we found a possible technical glitch with the superintendent's proposed contract. So if the board wouldn't object, could we pull that out for tonight? And we will work that out.
Okay, under personnel, there's a few, Sherry, keep me honest in this. I'm going to try and. All right. I'm going to ask for a consent motion to approve items 7.02 through 7.16 and 7.18 through 7.20
That's correct.
with there's a minor modification in 7.13,
That has already been made.
which is done.
Yeah.
A minor percentage correction in 7.19.
And the new one is in the packet as well.
That's it. And we're pulling out 7.17,
Yeah.
deferring that until another.
I'll second that. Any questions on any of those? Hearing none, all in favor? All right. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. This is to the new business.
Under new business. Consent motion for items 8.02.
No, we should be taking, sorry,
Yeah,
we're taking 8.02 out
2 is up.
because they didn't present tonight.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
All right, 8.03 through 8.11.
Second.
And please don't make me read 8.08
Okay, I was just gonna ask you that.
and 9.
Any questions on any of those? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Unanimous, thank you. And just do business office.
Office, consent motion, entertain a consent motion for items 9.02 through 9.05.
Second. Comments, questions on those? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Unanimous, thank you. And that ends the regular business, right?
Nothing, it's 10.01, but you don't need to. That's good. special board meeting start time?
Yes, at the last board meeting, we had talked about the possibility of changing the board meeting starting to 6. But it doesn't work for all of our board members, so we are going to resume with our board members at our board meeting at 7 p.m.
The first one being July 5th at 7.
I think July
5th is at 5, unless you.
Oh,
want to-
sorry about that.
We had talked about that
Sorry.
being the reorganization. It was at 8 a.m., which seemed a little bit more of a conflict. So
everything's
Is-
7 except for July 5th.
unless you prefer July 5th to be 7 o'clock,
That's-
I think,
You're the
that's up to
busiest.
you guys.
I'm
It doesn't matter one way or
okay
the
with
other.
whatever. Why are some of the, just real quick, why are some of the lights down on the backfield?
So that's actually part of the must go, like, so we're changing the heads to LED lights. And that is, so we're doing a loan to purchase agreement. And so after that lease is done, we own the lights.
You're gonna change the other side too.
Yep. Correct.
Anybody ever adjust the gold post at South Bears?
That's only, it's set up, it's not installed. So that means that, yes, it will be straight, it will be, yes.
We do have one. for
All
north
needs
end,
to be
right?
adjusted. And we do have the other one. All that equipment, the socket goals, the goal posts, they are all on site.
Over on the west side, they're the bench for the soccer game, are they the like clam shell they call it?
We're looking at the plan shell. We're still making the decision on what we're gonna do. That's not part of the project. We'll be purchasing that out of our own district funds.
Yeah, is there gonna be a netting all the way around?
So there's gonna be a netting on the ends behind the goals. When we did a value engineering solution, we did take the net out on the west side. It required different posts for all the fencing, and so to make sure that we were able to do the renovations to the auditorium and have that budget at 2 million, we did take the netting down out of it.
Any construction going between the two benches for videoing, or are you gonna use the existing one out
We're
there?
gonna use existing. Or no, we're not using, no, there will be a new one we'll use the press box on this side, but there will be a new
Tower.
press box, or yes. With a better ladder?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just had the question right because my calendar has the 4th and as a regular meeting. So we're gonna, that meeting on the 5th is gonna be organizational and our regular
Yeah.
first meeting of the month,
Right.
so I can delete these other two. Or I get myself confused and show up here on the 4th.
And 5 o'clock is okay, or do you
Yeah.
want 5 o'clock is okay?
We'll get it.
And we're just gonna go 5 o'clock until we're done.
Yes.
Okay. Any other business to come before the board? No, entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn the meeting at. Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.